Hello, friends. It's me. And it's time for another story. A story that I'm totally accidentally stealing from Redx's subreddit. Hey, bud, how's it going? I didn't realize this was posted on your subreddit until I opened the link, and you know what? I'm going to read this story too, so, it'll be fun. This looks interesting, so, without, going on anymore like I usually do, this is from Reddit user BeyondSurface69. This is the Goblin Queen Redux. Well, okay. Hey guys, I posted about a legbeard that I dated, but I wasn't satisfied with how I was approaching the tale. So I wanted to try something different. A shout out to Redx. Hey bud. I love the channel and I look forward to seeing that YouTube notification. I do too. When are you going to read my stories? I'm kidding, you don't have to. Without further ado, I bring you the tale of the time I dated the Goblin Queen for 2 years. Oh boy. Cast, OP, your narrator and boyfriend of the Goblin Queen. I was, and still am, an emo dork. I love all things sci-fi and horror, and have often been told creativity is one of my strong points. I was a little cringy during this time. I just graduated and had zero life plan. I spent my days writing my novel, and I had to be available at specific times to answer my phone to speak to the Goblin Queen, and if I wasn't, she would get upset and sometimes not speak to me until the next day. The Goblin Queen herself. OP's now ex-girlfriend and legbeard. She didn't look like most legbeards, meaning she was really pretty. She dressed pretty alternatively, except that she would often wear tutus over her skinny jeans, knee-high Converse, and asking Alexandria shirt that read, "Get on your knees," and showered daily, but she always had a faint scent of taxidermy, which I assumed came from the massive amount of taxidermy animals that her parents had. It's an interesting outfit choice. Her personality is where the legbeard comes in. She was obsessed with anime and Doctor Who. She talked shit on anyone that tried to be nice to her. Her opinion was the only one that mattered, and I was to treat her as a goddess. What we say about neckbeards definitely applies to legbeards too. It's not the fedora you wear, but the fedora you exude. Sounds like this one's exuding a big one. She's the Goblin Queen because of her obsession with the David Bowie film Labyrinth. Somehow I knew it was that. And she would refer to herself as such. Oh. Okay. V, the Goblin Queen's mother. She was a bit of a Karen and very posh in a Southern American kind of way. She was often harsh with the Goblin Queen, and I would often hear her complaints that included, "My mom is such a bitch," and "my parents hate me." McFlurry, the Goblin Queen's best friend and often the object of her affection. However, even though she was my friend as well, I was forbidden to speak to her, and doing so would often result in the Goblin Queen getting insanely angry and violent. Oh boy. Fergie, my arch nemesis and the art teacher at my high school. She had a love-hate relationship with the Goblin Queen, McFlurry, and myself. She was insanely obsessed with the Black Eyed Peas. I was the one who approached the Goblin Queen. I saw her on Facebook and thought, she's cute. She's completely normal-seeming at first. She seemed like a normal girl who liked to draw, and we liked a lot of the same things. We ended up dating for a few months until she kissed another guy. She would later tell me that she was forced, and little did I know that that wouldn't be the first lie of that type. Oh boy. I had just received a check for $10,000, which allowed me to be able to afford our high school's trip to Disney World. I had no idea at the time that the Goblin Queen was going, but she had found out I was, and was not happy about it. She told people that she would kill me if I spoke to her. What? So I made the wise decision to just avoid her. My plan was compromised when she messaged me, "Are you ever going to speak to me on this trip?" I then made the less than wise decision to reply, "Only if you want me to." I thought of myself as a high-charisma Fallout character navigating the wasteland of my bad choices. I haven't decided if that's truly accurate or not. The Goblin Queen ends up basically stalking me, and after a near-death experience on the Tower of Terror, now Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, I found myself completely alone with the Goblin Queen. The TLDR is that we made up, and she would become my permanent partner for the rest of the trip. During the trip, we had lunch vouchers that could be used at specific restaurants, so we found ourselves at a restaurant in the Japan portion of Epcot. It was in this restaurant that the Goblin Queen and her 4 weeb friends cost me $700 in sushi. How in the actual fuck? Oh my god. We had asked 2 of the employees before we even ordered if they accept the lunch vouchers, and they had told us yes. Long story short, they did not, and between the 5 of us, we had racked up quite a bit of sushi, especially me, considering it's my all-time favorite food. Okay, now it starts to make more sense. I understood the misunderstanding and thought the mistake was more on our end, and the place agreed to knock off the drink cost. I suggested that we all pay our separate portions, and I was even going to cover the Goblin Queen because I was smitten with her. But everyone else, except one person I didn't know, claimed that they didn't have the money. My naive ass believed this, and I ended up paying the bulk of the bill, with the other girl paid about $100. I would later find out that everyone at the table had almost as much money on them as I did. I had about $3,000 in cash on me. What's it like to be rich? And they had just lied about not having the money. Real classy. Including the Goblin Queen. As I said, I had planned to cover her for the meal, but I was annoyed that she lied, and I told her as much. She later tried to make it up with me by buying me a cheeseburger at McDonald's on the trip home. Oh yeah, I can see how those things are totally equal. When we got back from the trip, McFlurry didn't seem thrilled that the Goblin Queen and I were talking again, but I was starting to develop hella feelings for her. I knew that she was an acquired taste and abrasive, but I thought she made up for it in other ways. I decided to take things slow this time, and before I knew it, a month had passed and I found myself on another trip with the Goblin Queen. This time it was to an art museum. Personally, I'm really into art. I paint abstracts, and I'm a huge Salvador Dali fan, and they had one of his pieces at the museum we're visiting. She sat with me on the bus ride there, and we held hands and listened to music together. She was wearing an orange beanie that belonged to McFlurry, and without really thinking, I took it from her and wore it. She got really distant and barely talked to me on the entire trip. On the way back, I tried to figure out what was wrong. Hey, are you okay? You barely spoke to me today. Like you care. Why don't you talk to McFlurry? You wear a hat all day. I widened my eyes as she said that. I hadn't been wearing McFlurry's beanie because I was into her. I mean, it sure smelled like her, and I noticed that it was pretty rad, but I wasn't wearing it for that reason. It smelled like her? You can't be serious. Come on. She just kept her head down, and I found myself in the wasteland of my bad choices again. Why don't we get back together? I thought it was pretty obvious I was feeling for you. For real? I nodded, and this prompted her to attack my face like one of the face huggers from Aliens. Our lips intertwined, and what my dumbass thought was magic. Everyone in our circle had heard of the Goblin Queen and I. Even McFlurry seemed excited that we were a couple, but things would get weird almost as soon as it began. The Goblin Queen messaged me late one night. Hey, I can't sleep, and I have a question. Yeah, what's up? Could you take me to Wonderland? We could make our own and pretend we're there. How am I supposed to do that? Let's think of a place together. It should be our future house with 2 stories and a spiral staircase. Oh, we're RP:3 now. Okay. Grabs her head, takes you up the stairs, and lays on a California king bed.
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
I thought the whole thing was strange, but I'm pretty open-minded, and I thought it'd be fun to pretend. Okay. Lays on the bed beside you. If you ever left me, I swear I'd end myself. You're like my own personal Peter Pan. And that is the biggest red flag I've ever seen. Right there. Hello, kids. It's, warning time again. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Things are not so good. That sounds like pretty big shoes to fill. You already have. Heart. I can't believe they're role-playing. Okay, now I know all of that is a pretty huge red flag. Yeah, that's why I said it. But when love makes everything else rose-colored, it's easy to dismiss things. The Wonderland stuff would consume all of the message interactions. It would even go to the point that she would roleplay being other people, and of course I played along. Eventually, I just got used to it and it started to feel normal. But you know what they say, history repeats itself, and repeat itself it did. I would find out almost a week later that the Goblin Queen had kissed someone else, and needless to say, I was livid. I went home and promptly messaged her. Yo, I heard about this guy that you kissed. Look, I'm done. I gave you another chance and you fucking shit on me just like last time. It's over. I'm sorry. What? What did I do? Talk to me. Please don't. But I knew it was a lie. I knew that she had made out with the dude, and I had let myself make the same mistake as the first time. I didn't respond, and she kept blowing up my phone. I put my headphones in and started listening to Sum 41's Fat Lip. Oh my god. Are you trying to give me flashbacks? Yes, I also remember high school. When someone messaged me, it's McFlurry. Hey, my mom just went to the gym and I'm home alone. Want to come over? I knew all the implications of what she said, and I didn't care. I wanted all the consequences of such an implication. I wanted revenge. What would you expect with a conscience so small? I jumped in the shower, cleaned up, and... we'll leave that part out. Maybe this was fate. I was about to message McFlurry. I was on my way when she messaged back. You broke up with the Goblin Queen? She's messaging me. I'm freaking out. Yeah, I found out she kissed some other guy. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I started thinking, maybe I went after the wrong girl. McFlurry just got me. Mom's coming home early. My heart sank. I got all hyped up, but forever the flirt, I responded, well, next time you're home alone, let me know. We can meet up and see if we click in every way. Sorry, you think I invited you over for that? I panicked. Maybe I just misread the situation? Maybe she meant platonic hangout, because girls totally risk sneaking a guy over just to chill, right? Before I could cultivate a response, another message came. But maybe, 3. I smiled and put my phone down and went back to listening to music. I zoned out for almost an hour until I got the nerve to check the messages from the Goblin Queen. But I found myself checking what McFlurry said first and was caught off guard. Hey, I think you should forgive the Goblin Queen, give her another chance. I talked to her, she said it was a mistake. She's really upset. I just think you should talk to her. I didn't answer, but I went to the Goblin Queen's messages. It was a lot of, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough, you won't have to worry about me anymore. I was no longer mad at this point, just exhausted. I thought I really loved her, but what the fuck had just happened with McFlurry? I knew that I'd have to address that sooner than later. McFlurry sent me a few more messages explaining that she thought I'd just stay with the Goblin Queen, and I found myself hopelessly in my personal wasteland and decided, fuck it, and I messaged the Goblin Queen. Look, it hurts, but I'm pretty sure I care about you, so how about we just forget this? Really? I swear I love you. I just fucked up. I didn't know if we were real. Takes your hand. Take me to Wonderland. I played along. Hey, prom's coming up. Want to go? Yes. Oh my god, I gotta tell my mom I didn't dress. I'm really a princess, aren't I? Do you forgive me? Anything for you. I really regret saying that. I didn't know that such a statement could have some dire consequences. I never brought up the other guy's situation again, and things seem to go back to being okay. But this is not where it ends, dear reader. The fun was just getting started. The shit show that would be prom was just over the horizon, and I was still confused about what happened between McFlurry and I. And I would soon find myself causing something much worse than the Goblin Queen. But I'll continue that in part 2. I'll indulge you guys a bit longer. I find telling the story almost therapeutic. Another month passes and I'm over at the Goblin Queen's. Her and her mom were excitedly discussing plans for prom. Something at this point was more for the Goblin Queen than I, because I had absolutely no say. She decided the colors that she wanted to wear, and I had to have a tux to go with that. And I was still discussing all of that with the Goblin Queen and her mom when McFlurry messaged me. Hey, I have a question, and I know this is gonna sound weird, but I know we're both in relationships, but I thought about this, and I want you to take my virginity. No. The answer is no. This is, oh man, I'm getting all kinds of bad feelings from everything here. I was speechless. I excused myself for the restroom and just read the message over and over. I decided I would say yes because I think I really wanted to. I was somewhat honored. No. I decided that I would answer when I wasn't at my girlfriend's house. And yes, typing all of this makes me feel gross. I know it was wrong to agree, but sometimes emotions control us when we find ourselves in sticky situations. Bruh. I left my phone to charge in the bathroom and soon forgot about it, until the Goblin Queen went to use the bathroom and she came out holding my phone and she was red with anger. What's up? You look upset. I knew, and yes, I felt guilty. Did you see what that whore messaged you? She was screaming and her mom came to look at the message. Oh my god, what is wrong with her? Oh, fuck you, OP! She threw my phone at me and was shaking with anger. He didn't even answer her. Be nice to him. He probably didn't even know. Don't blame him. You know what kind of girl that McFlurry is. Did you know? Were you going to say yes?
What? No.
I was lying and I felt like shit. I felt bad because on the inside I knew exactly what I was going to do. The Goblin Queen grabbed my phone and blocked McFlurry and everything. If you ever message her again, I will... Threats of physical violence. You know, YouTube doesn't like when I say that. Do you understand? Yeah, hey, I'm sorry. Just calm down. You don't talk to him that way. He didn't do nothing. Boy, I sure felt like I had. The Goblin Queen picked up her own phone, then messaged McFlurry, who explained that she meant to send the message to someone else. She then threatened McFlurry in a similar manner of how she threatened me, but she seemed to be okay with me. I went home and found the Goblin Queen had already sent me a lengthy message about how she loved me and trusted me and asked if we could go to our wonderland. I obliged and just laid there in bed, but before I fell asleep, I unblocked McFlurry. I didn't message her, but I did unblock her. I felt like I had done something horrendous. But, like I said, this was barely the beginning. I would soon find out that the Goblin Queen was one of the worst people I'd ever met, and that hearts were about to break. I was on a path that would result in my everything getting trashed. I felt like the bad guy at this moment, but things were about to happen to this day that makes me wonder why I ever thought I loved her in the first place. I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, sharing this story is very therapeutic, and while I do dread remembering the stuff to come, I want to tell this story. The Goblin Queen may not have seemed very legbeardy in this part, but this is just the beginning. I was about to meet my ghost children, and that's part 2, so peace out. Boy, okay, how do I put this? Everything in this is making me remember horrible, horrible high school things, and yeah, when you started talking about how you're all in high school, that's when all this clicked. Do I think that the Goblin Queen qualifies as the legbeard that you're saying? I'm sure we'll find out more in part 2, and I do plan to read that, but so far, not entirely. I mean, I'm assuming since this was high school, this was not like, you know, yesterday. This is a little bit older. Yeah, I definitely remember that era when things were, you know, people were kind of into all the stuff that you're describing, and I can see where you may say that a lot of the legbeardy things fit, and they kind of do. However, I will say that a lot of the decisions made by pretty much everybody in this story were not good. The Goblin Queen essentially screwing around was not a good thing. McFlurry's weird insistence on hitting on OP when they knew that they were with someone is also a big red flag. And OP's decision to just kind of go along with both of these things, also not good. Yeah. So far, the only thing, the only person that kind of fits in this that isn't really, you know, a problem is Goblin Queen's mom, but that's only because she said like 4 or 5 things, and they were all just like, hey, this is, you know, somebody sent him a message. That doesn't necessarily mean he answered. But that's because they didn't have the context of, you know, what was going on in OP's head, but we do. And that's, yeah, that's pretty not cool, bro. I will say that. I do appreciate you choosing to share this story, and maybe we'll learn more about what goes on in part 2, but, yeah, that was kind of not cool. I understand that you may like this other person, but if you're in a relationship with someone, you should probably not do that, you know what I'm saying? So, this is a weird one. This is kind of a yikes all around. I don't really know what to say that would make this, like, any more palatable, but we are going to read part 2, or at least I am, in the next couple of minutes here, and you guys will see it in another episode. So, if you enjoyed this story, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I have a Ko-Fi and merch store. They help keep the lights on in here, so I can, you know, keep doing stuff like this. And if you'd like to send me your own story, you can send it to my subreddit, r/Moonhorse Stories. I check it pretty much every day, so I will see it. And every Saturday there's a live stream, so you can come hang out with me while I read weird things. So, with that, that's the end of this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all. Goodbye.